Hi, everybody. Welcome to our virtual career day series with the Los Angeles Public Library. My name is Lynn Nguyen, and I'm here with my co-host Jessica Levy from Palisades Branch. Say hi,
Hey
Jessica.
everybody.
We're so excited to have you here for our weekly virtual career day series where we introduce amazing careers to you. Today, we have three guest speakers from Nike, Starbucks, and Prada. We would like to extend our deepest thanks to all of our participants for being here with us today, our amazing guest speakers, the Library Foundation, and the Friends of the Chinatown Library for their generous support. Before we begin, I would like to go over some housekeeping rules. Your microphones are already muted, and you do not need to have your videos turned on. To limit any distractions, you can click on your window to make it full screen. And if you wish to ask questions at any time during the program, you can go ahead and type that in the chat box, and Jessica and I will do our best to ask that question for you during our Q&A or even in the middle of the program. We hope that you enjoyed today's career day. Please remember to help us complete our very short survey at the end of the program. We'll be linking that in the chat box. So with that being said, I would like to ask all of you to open up your chat box if you haven't done so already. The popcorn question I would like to ask you all today is, if you could work at any retail store, which one would you work at? If you could work at any retail store, which one would you work at? All right. Hey, everybody. Yeah, so our three guests, ooh, a bakery, Tartine, ooh, all right. Starbucks, for sure, Starbucks. Target, that's always a good one. I'm always afraid if I worked at Target, I would probably spend all my money there. Oh, there are so many amazing answers here. So, we're so excited to have our guest speakers here today because we're going to start asking them questions about how they got into their careers, and hopefully they can shed some light on their job search and their career path, and then help inspire all of you today. So we're going to go ahead and start our interview question. There's a lot of people here that want to work for Starbucks and Nike. Well, wait till you guys hear about Prada. All right. So today I would like to introduce you guys all to Angel, Victor, and John. So we're going to go ahead and start the interview process, and we're going to have Angel, Victor, and then John answered in that order. Okay, so the first question I would like to ask you all is, please tell us who you are, your job title, and what retail organization you work for.
Hello, Lynn. Thank you for having me today on this interview to help, encourage teens, to follow a career maybe towards Nike. So my name is Angel. I currently am a recent college grad from Cal State Long Beach, and I currently work for Nike as a part-time sales associate / athlete. And currently, for my job, I'm pretty much like quote unquote an athlete, pretty much embedding the swoosh life, and pretty much that's it for now. And I'll discuss more about what I do, later on.
Thank you, Angel. How about with you, Victor?
Hi guys, my name is Victor Gomez. I am a store manager for Starbucks in the Santa Monica area, specifically Santa Monica and Bundy, if you guys want to come by and say hello. And I've been a store manager for about a year almost, and that's what I do.
Thank you. How about you, John?
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to Lynn and Jessica and the LA Public Library for having me as a featured guest this week. I am always glad and happy to lend my voice to help empower the youth. I think it's super important. So my name is John Tapia, and I work at the epicenter, or what some people would know it better as the flagship of the store, Rodeo Drive. I work for Prada on Rodeo Drive, and I'm an assistant to studio services and personal shopping.
That sounds awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. So with that being said, what does your job entitle? We'll start off with Angel. What does your job entail?
So pretty much as a sales associate / athlete, you want to promote your product. For Nike, you want to promote the swoosh, the clothing, and then it doesn't just come like with clothing, like you're not just working at the store, you want to kind of like give the consumer, an experience, a journey throughout, like, from the product to like, something to carry along, like, later on throughout the day. So at my store, like, I started off in the sales floor, like selling like shirts, shoes, like, anything with the brand. And as of now, I moved back to a stock room, but I never forget how I started, like from the sales floor, making that transition to the stock room. But I always like, had a passion for like, communicating to like to consumers, like, what I do and how I got there as well, like, promoting the product. Like if they need a certain product, I'll help them find them. If not, then I'll encourage them, like, hey, I give you my recommendations, like, you should, like, try this shoe out instead of like, this one, the pros and cons of each shoe. Like, Lynn, I'm pretty sure, like, as a marathon runner yourself, like, and including myself, we always want to go have the perfect shoe that will fit, like, our race, like, our foot. So that's why I want to, like, promote or encourage them towards a shoe that's going to be better for them. And it also comes with like clothing and apparel, like something that's best suits them. But that's what I currently do at my position at Nike, be a quote unquote athlete, sales associates, and give them the perfect find for the product.
Thank you, Angel. How about with you, Victor? Can you tell us a little bit about what a store manager does at Starbucks?
Of course. So I'm the store manager at Starbucks, and we're in charge of the whole building, depending where you are. We're in charge of making schedules, staffing, hiring, training, product quality, making sure that all partners, that's what we call our employees, partners, are making the product as intended, so the customers can have the best quality product. We're in charge of sales and inventory, making schedules, making plans for winter, fall, summer, and so on. We do community service, and we're in charge of making any type of community outreach that we can, or donations. And the most important thing is that we're in charge of running a team and leading a team to make sure that the store is running smoothly and people always get what they want. At Starbucks, you want to make sure you get your Starbucks right. A lot of times it's the first thing you drink to get your day started. So we'll make sure that your day goes well. And we're really focused on product quality, customer service, and outreach to the community.
That's amazing. Thank you. And how about for you, John? Tell us a little bit about your job as assistant and personal shopping at Prada.
Yeah, of course. So in my role of assistant to the personal shopper of the store, I make sure that all her clients, the studios, stylists, studios often are like movie studios, TV show studios, and then obviously the stylists to the celebs are all being, they're all being helped in a timely manner. I deal with high profile clients all the time. I deal with movie studios, I deal with celebrity stylists, and in their world, when they need something, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is, they will text you and they will like make sure they get whatever it is. So my job is to make sure that my manager, is just assisting her in her everyday tasks, whether that be opening accounts with studio services or new stylists, scanning merchandise in and out of the store, making sure that everything is being accounted for accurately because things are constantly leaving the store in and out, and obviously that's merchandise. So my role is just making sure that she's able to run an efficient studio services and personal shopping role, at Prada, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
That sounds so exciting. All right. Well, as you all know, we have a lot of young adults here with us today, and one of the questions I wanted to ask is, did you know that you were going to go into this job or career as a teen, and what made you apply for this job? Or if you could share what were some of the first jobs you had that led you to this career path, that would be awesome. So we'll start with you, Angel.
Yeah, I certainly didn't know I was gonna end up in Nike. I didn't know. I liked the brand. I would like, wear Nike to like, growing up, but I never thought I would work for Nike. like growing up, I was always passionate, like, about about sports, about like, doing all this physical activity. But I never thought about working into Nike. But, and it's okay to not know where you want to go. Like, it's okay to not know if you want to do, like, you want to do Nike, you want to do like Starbucks or Prada, like, it's okay to not know. Like at the end of the day, you'll find your interest along the way. And for me, I found it with Nike. Like, I started off with some sporting goods, started off my first job, and then like I went to school. And then as I progressed to school, like, I was like, you know what? I enjoy like, being around like, like a store, where they sell like, something I'm passionate about, sneakers, like, physical activity, and everything else that the store has. But it took me like probably a couple tries to get in there. It wasn't easy, but after getting all the work done, getting my experience after a while, like this, I think I found my expertise, my interest, and I love what I'm doing right now for like, and I feel myself like in the future, like, something that I want to continue doing, like, not just for myself, but also for like helping other people as well to see, if they know they like the brand or they want to like have a career also with Nike, then and we'll find that interest for you as well.
Thank you. How about with you, Victor?
So no, I did not start with Starbucks. That's not something that I wanted to do. I always loved it, go in the morning, get your coffee, and get the day started. But no, I started my retail career when I was about 17 with Forever 21. I started there as a sales associate, promoted to key holder, and then promoted to manager. I was with them for about 8 years. One of my managers there moved to Starbucks and kind of brought me on board. I was with Starbucks for about a year. Then I left for a different venture with another retailer, and I regretted it. So not too long ago, about 2.5 years ago, I came back to Starbucks as a shift supervisor and got promoted to assistant manager. And I believe in the beginning of this year, I got promoted to store manager, and I run my own store now, which is pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And thank you for that. And John, how about you? Did you know that you were going to go into this career path?
No, I definitely didn't expect to end up in this career path. I actually am from a small town in Northern California called Fresno, California. And growing up, I just kind of always knew that I was destined for something grander, whatever that may have been. So I think at the age of 23, I moved down to LA, and I obviously worked, retail jobs. My first retail job was at Zara in Santa Monica, which was crazy because I lived in downtown LA. I had no car. So I would commute, I would do this like 1.5-hour commute to Santa Monica every like morning or before my shift, and then every night when my shift would end. So, worked at Zara. Then after Zara, being there for a month, it was just a lot for me with like the commute and everything. So I found something that, was in my best interest and which was closer. And I worked for Kitson. I'm sure everybody knows Kitson. It's a pop culture staple, I guess, in terms of retail. And I was a sales associate at Kitson. And with Kitson, I kind of got to dip my feet in a lot of different things. I got to do merchandising in the store. I got to help style e-commerce and different things like that. And then after my career at Kitson, I ended up opening the Uniqlo, the first West Coast flagship store at the Beverly Center, and I was working at Uniqlo. So I helped open up that, I helped set up fixtures, all the merchandising in the store, get it ready for the grand opening because it was Uniqlo's first, actually second flagship store, sorry, from San Francisco, but it was like their West Coast flagship. And then during my time there, I've always been pop culturally aware. And I've worked in fashion and entertainment for a while, in my other side hobbies and whatnot. So having worked several retail jobs, having done like merchandising and e-commerce styling and things like that, I knew that I wanted to be in retail, but I wanted to do retail in the highest form, which was luxury. So literally I just went on Rodeo Drive, and I went during the holidays and I started handing my resumes. at these luxury retail stores. And during the holidays, I think it's a perfect time, if you want to really test, and you want to work in a luxury market. I think it's a perfect time to kind of go in and look, for a luxury retail job. So I went and I, handed resumes, and I got a call back. I got hired as a seasonal employee at Prada, and then really just worked hard, and I, proved myself by my work ethic. And then after, I was offered a full-time contract with the company. And then, I was a runner. So a runner is pretty much like sales support. And I was assisting the sales associates, assisting the store. I was, doing reception work, just really working hard and just having a great attitude. And then our personal shopper actually was in need of an assistant. And so my general manager at the time proposed me as the assistant. And, I was kind of nervous because I always make fun of my boss, or it's like a little joke. It's not I don't make fun of her, but she was very intimidating at first. So like when they offered me that role, I was like, I don't know if I want to take this, but I knew that I wanted to evolve with the company, and this was a way for me to kind of, have like a promotion and really just continue proving my work ethic. And I took the role, and I'm happy that I did, because we ended up having such a great dynamic and like chemistry, and everything just flows and works really well between us. So yeah, that's how I ended up at Prada and in my role.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. So my next question for all of you is, what are some of the rewards for working in this job position, and what do you love about your job, and what are some of the biggest challenges? So I'll start off with you, Angel.
Well, as working for Nike, I'm sure everybody, majority, want to, oh, free, Nike shoes, like they think it's like free, everything for Nike. But I don't think that's the case. Once you're in Nike, it's like you're sort of in there, to just help the right person, find the right product for them at the end of the day. Like for me, I enjoy what I do. I love my job just because I do love sneakers. I love from like Jordans, from like even to like running shoes. I have a full collection of them. But at the end of the day, it's like not just about me. Like I mentioned before, I enjoy when I start off, I enjoy really talking to people. I want to help them. I want to feel like I help them at the end of the day. Like, oh, you're gonna run a marathon, or even like you're gonna run you're gonna start your first mile. Like, well, all right, let's find your first shoe, your first running shoe, and then we'll see how you progress throughout, to maybe even run a marathon. Then we'll see that transition from like your first mile to a marathon, and help them see that that transformation from finding the right shoe. And when it comes to clothing, same, it works as well. I want to feel you want the right shirt, you're looking for this, hey, I got you. I want to you want to look cool, you want to have it to be efficient, on your workout. All right, let's get you through the right shirt, the right shorts, the right everything. And when I come home, I just feel I feel like I made a good deed. I found them, the right everything. If it wasn't from the shoes, the clothing, at least that conversation, I had that conversation with them. I want to know why, why they chose these shoes, why they chose this shirt, why they chose these shorts. I just want to feel I hope it works out for them. And if not, okay, you come back to the store. I'll be here. I want to help you find the exact whatever you want, and make them feel happy. So it makes me feel happy as well.
Wonderful. What about the challenges? What are the challenges of being a sales associate at Nike, or when you encounter something really difficult?
I think some of the challenges, yeah, it's when you're gonna have some consumers, they're having bad days. We all have bad days. I've done retail maybe for the past 7 years. At the beginning, I was I just wanted to cry or even quit at the spot. I'm I don't know how to deal with these type of consumers. They're getting on my nerves. But as you progress, you learn how to manage it. Just look at it this way: if they have a bad day, you don't know what they're going through. They may be rude, they may be mad about something, but just try to help them out the best you can. And if that doesn't work, there's always someone you can look, say for a manager, they'll maybe help you out. But try to do your best at first, to de-escalate situation. try to help them out the best you can. And, you know, like they're gonna have bad days. We have bad days. Like, you know, just put yourself in their shoes. Like when you're mad, you go into a store, you don't want to be rude to, like, you know, to employees. Like, you know, you want to treat them the way you want to be treated. Like, you know, if they're mean to me, they're rude to me, I'm not gonna react that way, because, you know, they're in the store for a purpose, to shop, to find the right product, and I want to get just do that for them, and, you know, like, that's it.
Thank you. That's a really great skill to have. How about for you, Victor? What are some of the rewards of being a store manager, and what are some of the challenges?
So rewards, you know, Starbucks allows you to be yourself as an individual, as a person, for whatever you may stand for, whatever you believe in. They welcome you. We are open for everything, diversity, inclusion. That's what we stand for, and we stand for people to be themselves when they are in our stores. They want that they can see themselves there. Perks wise, I mean, there's, you know, what isn't there? You get free coffee for sure. You get 30% off when you're out and about at other places. You get Spotify Premium as soon as you start. You get your partner discounts, coffee gear that you can, you know, wear. You get commuter benefits. So if you're taking the bus, or you have let's say you applied at Santa Monica, but you live in downtown, you get commuter benefits for the bus, for the metro, whatever it might be. We have the Starbucks Reward Program and benefits, which is by far more than likely top 5 benefits you can get, which it's health, dental, and vision. Can match it. We have also other things like Lyra mental health benefits, which is basically like 20 sessions with a therapist if you feel the need. Cup Fund, which is, you know, if you're struggling with something in life, you know, you can reach out to Starbucks and they can see how they can help you, whether it's financially or try to find you something for you. Parental resources like care at work, where they partially refund you if you have children and they need to be taken care of. And the list goes on. It's pretty crazy, the type of things that Starbucks does for their employees. Specifically, if I can speak about now in the pandemic, they've taken care of us. They've really taken care of us. And speaking about the pandemic, that has been the biggest challenge. You know, the continuous changes of how we need to run a business, and making sure that everyone's safe, self-distancing, and we continue to serve the best drinks possible and make every customer happy and keep bringing them back. It's definitely been a challenge to continue to move with the changes, train a team to make sure that they're following all these procedures. It's been challenging, but Starbucks is right there with you through the whole process. And if you have a question, if you're feeling overwhelmed, then make sure that you take care of yourself first.
Wonderful. Thank you. And John, how about for you? What do you love about your job, and what are some of the challenges that you do face?
Yeah, of course. So I think aside from like health benefits and things like that, I think some of the perks often with, you know, working with stylists and things like that, or studios, I think some of the perks could be like concert tickets, getting put on celebrity guest lists, you know, getting to go to the Allen show, or types of things like that, you know. I think that the challenges with my job is trying to accommodate everybody around the clock, just because I work with a lot of, like I said, celebrity stylists, a lot of movie studios and things like that. So really prioritizing is a challenge, because you have all these people who message you at any point in time in the day, and you have to try to figure out how to accommodate them, you know, for whatever the reason may be. I think that some of the things that are fulfilling is just being able to assist people like behind the scenes. I will help a studio will come in and they'll open an account under a working title, which is a title for a movie that they don't want you to know about or anything. It's called a working title. So it's like this alias title name. And, you know, doing these loans and, you know, having this business with them. And then 2 or 3 months later, driving down, you know, 3rd Street or one of the more prominent streets in LA and seeing a billboard for this thing, and, you know, they're wearing these items that you've like loaned these companies or they bought from you, and it's like, oh, that was that. like, for example, I had an account come in and they opened an account and the working title was Magnus Opus. And I was like, Magnus Opus, like, what is this? You know, but I don't really think about it too much because I see all these things, you know, come in and out. And then a few months later, I saw these Film LA notices all around my neighborhood, and it was like Magnus Opus is filming in like Hollywood. And then, you know, going back to pop culture and being aware of what's going on, all these blogs were talking about how Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio were filming down Hollywood Boulevard. And then I put two and two together and I was like, wait, that was Magnus Opus. Like Magnus Opus was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it was like a working title. And I had no idea while we're doing these like business transactions with them, what is going on. But then a couple months later, you know, you see these, you know, billboards or you see these things. So yeah, I definitely think that, you know, aside from good health benefits and, you know, assisting stylists and studios, and yes, you get, you know, concert tickets and things like that, but it is also a lot of hard work, and working with stylists and studios is very demanding. So you always have to be on your feet, you know, and you're constantly working around the clock.
Thank you for that. That sounds so exciting. So, you know, I noticed that you've already spoken about perks. I guess let's move on to the next one, and we'll ask, you know, do you plan to be in this job position for a while? Are there opportunities to move up in your company, or do you plan to go somewhere else? We'll start off with you, Angel.
Yeah, I actually, like, you know, I see myself working with the brand, like, you know, for quite some decent time. Like I said, I recently graduated school. Like, you know, I have a year and a half working with Nike, but I've had, like, you know, previous like, you know, what events, like, you know, that I've related to Nike, like, you know, from like the big Nike have like, was it 10K, like that other little Nike events that I've attended, but also led me to, like, you know, to where I'm at now. Like I see myself, like, you know, moving up, progressing like from part-time to like maybe full-time, and then leading to, like, you know, maybe management. But I did graduate with a communications major, so I want to do maybe something like with marketing, like, you know, once I get my experience out of the way, like, you know, I'm not just gonna skip a leap, like, you know, all from part-time. I'm gonna go here, like, you know, I feel like it builds up from like, all right, part-time, I need to take those little baby steps and then progress like within the company. But yeah, in my store, like, you know, right now, obviously we're going through a pandemic, you know, we're dealing with a lot of, like, you know, displacements, like, you know, openings here and there, but I know there's jobs out there also, like, you know, that are open. But as for me, like, you know, right now I'm okay with part-time, but once, you know, full-time opens up, then maybe I'll take that chance and then move up. Okay, now I have my part-time. Okay, what's the next step? Like, you know, do I want to, like, you know, keep going up, like, you know, for management? And then where do I go from now? Do I want to go into marketing, like, you know, with my degree? And if not, like, hey, I still consider myself young, like, you know, like, you know, we'll move along, like, way little by little. But at the end of the day, like, you know, I want to do something that I'm passionate about, that, you know, that interests me, like, you know, and if something along the way, like, you know, along that journey from Nike comes up, like, you know, say if it were any other brand, then maybe I'll consider it. But, you know, I feel like I'll put myself first. Like, you know, if I like it, if it interests me, then I'll do something I love. But as for right now, I'm happy, I'm okay. But yeah, I'll see myself with the company for quite some time right now.
That's awesome. Thank you, Angel. Always moving ahead. What about you, Victor? Do you plan to stay with Starbucks for a while, or are there opportunities to move up in your job position?
Yeah, no, definitely. I do plan on staying with Starbucks for a while. They've allowed me to do so much. I didn't share this earlier, but I also work for the library system. I'm an MC, messenger clerk, and you know, I plan on staying on both for as long as I can. As a store manager, I don't really want to do more. There's district manager level. It's not something I want to do for the meantime, though. One perk that I didn't discuss earlier was the college achievement plan, which is through ASU, where we basically pay for you to go to college through Arizona State University. That's my next step, as I didn't attend in college after high school. And basically Starbucks pays for it. So that's definitely one of the biggest perks that I know that our teens that are coming out of high school can take advantage of. and then they can move on to something else. It is all online, so it allows you to do so much more. But Starbucks has allowed me to even make my own business. I have my own brand with the car culture. Won't go into details on that, but I plan on staying there for at least the next 5 years till something changes or I decide to do something.
Okay, thank you. And then what about you, John? Is there going to be another job opportunity where you're going to move up, or are you happy with where you're at?
Yeah, of course. So I'm going on 6 years with the company. And now we're in the stages of finalizing things, but I just got a promotion. So I'm on to my next role with the company. And in the future, I mean, I'll be there for another 5 years plus for sure. And I've been with the company for obviously now going on 6 years, so that really says a lot about the company. I really love what I do. I love my coworkers. And something that I do see myself doing in the future with the company is moving on to corporate and moving into VIP and public relations, which is all the celebrity product placement and all the product placement, throughout, whether it be Instagram, red carpet, all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for opportunity, within the company.
Thank you. So my next question to you all is, if there was let's say teens, they're planning to apply for your job positions, or planning to apply for like to work at Starbucks or Nike or Prada, like what are some skills that you think that they'll gain from working in this job position that will help them in the future?
I think like personally, like from personal experience, like working like retail for 7 years and starting at Nike, like I feel like you're definitely like your communications will go up, your interpersonal skills will go up as well, your relationship skills will also go up. Just because you are like you are communicating with many people coming in through that door like every single day, Monday to Sunday. You're gonna see it's Nike. Who wouldn't want to come to Nike at the Grove? Like we'll see many faces, like maybe celebrities as well, you know. And yeah, I feel like I feel like I started off as an introvert. Like I was shy, like not talking to anyone. And then when it came to like working retail, it's like I gotta get my game up. I gotta like be a little bit more extrovert. Like talk to people, approach them. Like hey, like how's your day going? Even with the like simple question like that. Like hey, how's your day going? Like may I help you? Like do you need any assistance finding any product? Like it's just that little small detail. Like those little small conversation starters. Where like gonna get you like like you never know who's gonna walk through the door. You never know who you're talking to. And yeah, like now I feel confident, like just even speaking like publicly, like I know people are scared to like like speak in public, but hey, like it'll go away. Like it's a fear, like that like if you practice it more, then it's gonna go away. And even in a retail store with like people coming in, like approaching you left and right, like you're not gonna be like just standing in one place, not like not answering the questions, like in a fast-paced like environment. You're going to be like answering the questions, helping them out, like even multiple consumers one at a time. But it's just like at the end of the day, you just want to be yourself. But skills, like like I said, communication skills, definitely, like you don't need, like you'll start off with like being shy, but those communications will indeed go up. Those interpersonal skills, they all will increase. Like like now it's like, all right, now I'm in the big game part, like so let's like let's chat it up and let's get like let's get this game on.
Thank you. How about for you, Victor? What are some skills that you think that people will gain from working at Starbucks?
I mean, you learn to work in a super fast-paced environment. You learn a lot about repetition and how to focus on quality and social skills, as Angel discussed. Like that's the biggest thing that Starbucks is after, just people who are willing to communicate and are honest and themselves, to create a great customer experience. So we want to make sure that anyone that comes in leaves with a smile on their face, or they're just glad that they came in for more than just a cup of coffee. You learn how to communicate, you learn social skills, you learn how to work in a fast-paced environment. It prepares you for so much more. I've been in retail for 12 years now, and being an introvert and then turning to an extrovert, you kind of got to learn how to switch it on and off. So you learn all these skills, and we train you to do the job. It's more about how you carry yourself as a person and how you interact with customers. That's really what you learn in your journey at Starbucks, and we provide even training for that.
Thank you, Victor. How about with you, John?
I definitely think some of the skills that you would pick up from working at a place like Prada is customer service skills, communication skills, problem solving skills, data entry, like clienteling, money handling. Definitely networking is key, super key in a role like that. But yeah, those skills and more, you would pick up from working at a place like Prada.
Okay, now if there was a young adult coming in to apply for your job, like what are some skills or what are some qualities that you're looking in this candidate if they're applying for a job position at Nike, Starbucks, or at Prada? We'll start with you, Angel.
Yes, I feel like I said, like if you're coming into like Nike, Prada, like or Starbucks, you gotta learn like Victor said, you gotta learn how to turn off those introvert and extrovert skills on and off. Like you're not gonna come in there like all quiet. You're gonna be like okay, you see the first consumer coming in, I approach them. Okay, how we can help you? And there's just days where you're just not gonna feel it. So I mean, it's gonna be good and bad. It's not like where oh, you can't communicate today with like this consumer, or you're fired. Like no, those skills just, I guess, customer service skills are like preferred, but like we'll teach you as well. Like even at Nike, you jump in as a sales associate, no experience. Everybody starts off brand new. Even the team will help you along the way. Hey, you have questions, partner up, but we got you. We don't want to just throw you into the wolves and not know a single thing. But I feel like customer service skills, communication skills, kind of ideal, just for any job, in Prada or in Starbucks, where, those are going to be essential. And I feel like anywhere, anywhere you go, you're always going to be communicating in some sort.
Thank you. How about for you, Victor? What are some qualities that you're looking for in a candidate that applies for a job position at Starbucks?
I mean, with me, one of the biggest things is be yourself. Be yourself and be prepared to share. Be prepared to share stories, because we will ask you questions. And the biggest advice I can give you guys is study the STAR model. You can Google it if you want to. It's basically situation, task, action, and result. You're able to use that model to tell your story, because you will be asked questions that start with, tell me about a time that you did this or that. What do you do? When? Have you ever? Give me an example. Describe a. These are things that you can easily Google and kind of get in touch with. But using that STAR model to tell a story and just be yourself while you're telling that story, even if you have no job experience, especially coming out of high school, even the experience that you do have when you volunteer somewhere or did something for someone, whether it's your parents or friend or whatever it might be, there's still a story to tell. Be presentable for the job that you're applying for. Be prepared to talk, tell a story, and I would suggest just using the STAR model. You can Google that. It's literally STAR, and it'll give you a breakdown of what it looks like. But be yourself and apply for something or a place that you can, one, gain an experience from, or it's going to benefit you in some way, or that you may enjoy in some way or form. I wouldn't apply just anywhere, because then it would just make you miserable. So apply somewhere that you feel that you may gain something out of it, as an experience, and be yourself.
Thank you. So be yourself. All right, John, how about with you? What are some qualities that you're looking for when a candidate applies to work at Prada?
Yeah, of course. So I think looking presentable is super important when you're applying at a luxury job. Also, I think being personable and just having a good attitude is a quality. Just all your experiences, whether it be through retail or your accolades. I think having a presentable resume is good. Something that's short and sweet, because a lot of the time these companies don't really have time to like really sit down and read a resume. So when you have a resume, you want to make sure that you're hitting all your highlights, but that it's very short and sweet. That way, when a employer looks at that and you come and you leave your resume, they have time to just glance at it and see what your highlights are. What your accolades were, whatever. So I think those are key qualities when coming in and looking for a job in luxury retail.
Thank you, John. So my next question for all of you is, how has the pandemic affected your job? And what are some of the measures that your company is doing to ensure that you're safe or that all the employees are safe? We'll start with you, Angel.
Yeah, I guess the pandemic did affect, our, pretty much, I want to say, like, almost majority of us, not just at Nike, but I'm pretty sure, like, other companies as well. Like, during the time that it happened, I want to say, like, late March, I want to say that, that we found out about the COVID. Like, we shut down our doors, for about 3 months, I want to say. And it was like, it was kind of scary. Like, I felt like what's going on, like how it's like, I felt like I lost my job, like right then and there. Like, how am I going to support my family? How am I going to, pay all my other expenses? But I feel like Nike did, they did help us, along the way, like closing our doors and, offering us, they did offer us like resources, if we needed to speak to someone, if we needed some therapy, they did offer us, several other resources I can't recall at the moment. But if I will, I'll write down in the chat that they, like, I felt like, they cared about us, not just financially, where it's like, oh, we're gonna pay you, because time off or you're going through this. No, but I felt like I didn't see the financial aspect. I saw that more like, they care about us as humans, as athletes, where it's like, they're okay, you are going through some, some people go through depression, or some people experience like a lot of feelings during this time. They offered us those resources where we can, via Zoom or via call, where we can contact them and, have a sense like we're reaching out to people that are going to care for us, they're going to help us along the way. And even now, we still are offered those resources that, that can help us go through these difficult times.
Thank you. How about with you, Victor?
When the pandemic came about, we did shut down for a little bit. Not every store did. Drive-through stayed open, which was definitely a tough situation for those specific stores. My store actually shut down for about a month. And they took care of us. So Starbucks really took care of us pay-wise. Then they brought us back with safety precautions. Nobody can actually come into the store. Everyone should be wearing masks, temperature checks as you come in before you start your shift. If you feel sick or any type of symptoms, we have a whole set of questions that you need to answer before you can start your shift. You also can answer those questions before you even come in. If you're displaying any symptoms, then obviously you don't show up. Anyone who comes in contact with you has to isolate. They have to isolate. And at the same time, we provide a COVID relief, which basically pays for your time out. And, so many more. We were already one of the cleanest places out there in regards to retail and sanitization. But now we take it an extra level. We sanitize the doors. We make sure everyone's wearing a mask. When they come in, we sanitize and wash our hands every 30 minutes. We take major precautions. We don't take any chances with this. And Starbucks has been ahead of the game for anything like this, especially because it's food. You're dealing with food, and people are very touchy about that. So we definitely take care of our customers, our partners, and make sure that everyone's safe.
That's great. Thank you. How about with you, John? How has the pandemic affected your job, and what is your organization doing to ensure your safety and everyone else's safety?
Yeah, of course. So when COVID hit, our store obviously shut down for 3 months. The company completely took care of us with pay for those, months that we were out of work. Definitely when coming back, we opened up very slow. We were working, we weren't open to the public, but we were working. And they, obviously, studio services and anything having to do with Hollywood really just took a halt because everybody was just trying to adjust to the new normal and how Hollywood studios would operate. And, obviously, there's no more red carpets. So, how were celebrities going to be going on these promo tours and now doing interviews and press via Zoom? So everything did slow down. It did start picking up within time. The company really, takes or implements safety measures. They, do temperature checks before we come in. They require we wear masks at all times. They require that we are practicing social distancing in terms of clients, and to also keep us uh, healthy and safe. They are allowed to operate at a 50% capacity, but they still choose to operate at 25% capacity. We do have a line that is formed outside. We are only allowed to have 2 people at a time, no more parties bigger than 2. We do temperature checks. We hand sanitizer to the clients when walking in, or they have the option of wearing gloves. We have sanitation stations around the whole store. And when a sales associate is helping clients, we make sure that we are practicing social distancing. So we make sure to stay 6 feet behind the client. And we also make sure that we are the ones that are handling all the product. And if a client wants to try things on, of course, we're taking sanitation precautions. And once something is tried on, we are sanitizing it. When merchandise comes back from being out on loan, 48 hours prior to scanning the merchandise back in and whatnot. So yeah, they're definitely in compliance with COVID safety measures.
Thank you, John. All right, so I know we're running towards the end. I'm gonna try to ask 2 more questions. My next question for you is, does the candidate, or if for any of our young adults that are here today, if it's their first time applying for a job position with your company, 1, do they need to have any experience? And 2, where do they go about applying for working at your organization? So we'll start with you, Angel.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So I don't think there's necessarily any specific requirement to or specific experience coming into Nike. As long as Victor said, as long even as at Nike, just be yourself. Just experience. I prefer say personally, I had previous experience, so I mean that was a plus. But I don't think you need experience as like I said will teach you along the way throughout Nike because it is a big it is a big store where I'm at. I'm sure any other Nike stores, but I feel like you know will teach you the right tools will will be there for you whenever you need it. But for those young teens coming in say straight off of high school, it's just do yourself. If you're into your community, hey, that's a plus. You just want to come in there tell a story, be yourself, and that's it. It's we're not gonna look at you if you don't have experience, you're not in. It's more how true to yourself you are. You wanna if you are a runner, all right, hello, we have a runner in the house. If you want to you're into fashion, also hey, these are your interests. All right, cool. We'll look at that. And then I think not sure if the opening are still there. I think we had a few openings at Nike at the Grove, but as of last time I checked was a couple days ago. But yeah, if you go to Nike careers, Google Nike careers, then you'll find the job job openings right now at the moment. And I think we are doing seasonal hires, I believe, and also looking for part time as well at Nike at the Grove. So I would say I think it is Nike.com/careers where you can look up just Nike careers on Google and then those should pop up as well.
Thank you, Angel. How about for you, Victor? How does somebody, do they need job experience and where do they go to apply for Starbucks?
they don't need job experience. They can apply on Starbucks.com careers. You can apply at any Starbucks that is near you or any Starbucks that you may want to apply to. You just need to know the address or the store number. For example, my store number is 5213. You don't need experience. What you need, again, like I said earlier, is be yourself. And even if you don't have work experience, you may have some volunteer experience that you have done before. Put that on your resume. Your resume is a big part of it. The way you display your resume, it basically allows us to ask you questions around any type of experience that you may have. And if you don't, that's fine. You can still apply. Again, be yourself. I recommend looking at the STAR method of interviewing, which is, you can Google. Again, is situation, task, action, result. It's just being able to tell a story behind what the question might be. And questions can be like, tell me about a time where you had a great customer experience. Something as simple as that, where you can actually tell me like, okay, I went here. This person gave me the best experience because A, B, or C. And then how I felt afterwards was A, B, or C. And that was your great experience. As long as you're able to tell a story and you're genuine and yourself, it shouldn't be a problem. You don't need a work experience. We teach you everything you need to know about Starbucks, and it's a lot of repetition. Hard work, but it's repetition.
Great advice, thank you. And how about for you, John? Does anybody need experience to work at Prada? And what are the steps for going into Prada and saying, hey, I want to work here? Oh, I'll unmute you.
I think experience is definitely a plus when going into luxury retail. Although it is not always necessary, I have seen otherwise, where they've hired somebody that has had no retail experience. Really, it just comes to that moment of when they give you that time to shine. It's just really proving yourself and your work ethic. And, when you come in, first impressions are always, key. So when you come in, it's all about your personality, how you present yourself, and I think that's definitely important when going into a role like that.
That's wonderful. Thank you. All right. My last question for all of you is, if you could turn back time, what is some advice or what is something that you could tell yourself, you wish you could tell yourself? And what's some advice that you can offer to all of our young adults that are here today?
I would say, like, if I could turn back time, I would say, like, be a little more, like, more risk taking, like, take that chance, like, take that, like, take that leap of faith, like, like it took me, honestly, like, even though I didn't know I was going to work at Nike, it took me a couple of tries to get in, like, I tried it, it burned me out, but hey, like, you just got to keep trying, like, one, like, there's many other jobs as well. If, like, if you fail out once, you got to keep trying, like, if you really want to work in that field, like, like, say, on the third time's a charm for me. Like, it took me 3 times to get into Nike, but hey, I didn't give up. Like, I know I wanted to work in there. So, it's just like, if at first you don't succeed, then, you got to keep moving on forward. But, I feel like back then, I feel like I want to be more risk taking, like, apply here more, apply to this job, instead of just focusing on one and being like so like shy about it, like, like not knowing where I'm going, because I didn't know I was going, but I feel like I just wanted to, like, be more open, like, towards other careers. But yeah, it's some last words I could say, or like even tips, was like, just be yourself, be risk taking, like, don't like, don't be bogged down at if you fail, like, there's one door closes, another one's gonna open, like, there's gonna be other good times, like, you'll remember the good times and the bad times, but
Thank you, Angel. That's great advice. How about with you, Victor? What's something that you wish you could tell yourself, your young self? And do you have any tips for all of our young adults that are here today?
Yeah, I would say don't let anyone tell you you can't. It doesn't matter what it is, don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because you're capable. You're capable to do whatever you want. It doesn't matter if it takes you 2 months or 5 years. You can do it. You just got to put your mind into it. And if someone doesn't want to let you, if someone is getting on your way, push them out of the way. It doesn't matter what you need to do to get to where you want to go. You get to where you want to go. And you can do it.
Thank you. And how about for you, John? Oh, let me unmute you. There we go.
So something I would go back in time and tell my younger self is to never let people's opinions about what you are or what you can do define you. Only define what you can be. And I think that my advice to the youth would be to reach for the stars, because anything is possible, anything. And I think it's always important to remember that everybody works at their own pace. So even if somebody is accomplishing something at a faster rate than you are, it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't get there. Everybody works at their own pace.
Well, that is wonderful advice. All right, I think it's time for Q&A with all of our audience. I know there were a few questions that were coming in, so I hope that we were able to answer most of the questions. But let's see, is there anything up here? What are some major skill sets? This question's for you, John. What are some major skill sets necessary to be a personal assistant at a major brand like Prada?
So I actually have a background in fashion merchandising. So I think that, having some sort of background in fashion will help. I know there's several different resources for that. There's LA Trade Tech that offers a certificate program in fashion merchandising, also in business management. I've done countless internships. I think having internships is crucial. Sometimes working for free is, not always, fulfilling for some people, but I think that it's beyond that, and it's the skills that you learn. So I definitely think that, those are some skill sets that I would recommend having prior to, applying for a job like that.
Thank you. This question here is coming in from Ed. How do you feel about the retail experiences versus online shopping? So this question could go out to, let's say, Angel. We'll start off with you.
Yeah, I feel like retail versus online is like, I think there's a competition there. It's like, where technology is advancing rapidly. But I feel like I do online shopping as well, but I don't think, for my personal experience, I don't think it compares to, like, being at the store, like, being able to, like, see the product in hand or being able to try it on, and versus online shopping, where it's like, you kind of know your size, but not really. You go through that difficulty, talking to, like, I want to say, like, an expert behind the desk, like, like, for me, like, say I will go into like another Nike, and then they'll give me their feedback on the product, like at the moment, like in the moment. They'll, like, they'll allow me to, like, try on product. They'll have a few questions where I could get an answer right away. But yeah, some people also prefer the online, where it's like, I don't know how, where it's like, how's it gonna go from here. But I feel like it has its ups and downs, like pros and cons, like, when it comes to, like, retail, like, and online. I prefer, like, going to the store, like, picking out my shoes, my clothes, like everything. And then sometimes, when, like, it comes to online, I'll just, grab a few things, like, not so much, but, it's a little bit different. It's a whole, like, different conversation, where it's like, dang, like, where can we go from, like, where the world is moving towards to.
Thank you. How about for you, Victor? How do you feel about, people doing mobile ordering with their coffee drinks versus going into the stores?
We love it. It actually allows us to just put it aside, wait for them to come in, and out you go. But we are also evolving. A lot of stores that have drive-throughs are probably the busiest right now. You go to a drive-through store, you're waiting probably like 15 minutes to get your coffee. However, some stores like my own, I don't have a drive-through, but we have a mobile order pickup where we have designated parking spaces. And on your app, you just click like, I'm on number 4, and we'll have somebody bring it out to you. So we're always looking for ways to evolve with e-commerce, or the technology systems that are evolving as well. It's all about, how can I get it fast and good and be on my way. So we focus on quality service, but we figure out a way, just as creating this mobile pickup, and we're moving forward.
Thank you. And then John, how about for you? I don't, does Prada do online shopping, or is it more in store? You tell me, I'll unmute you. There we go.
We actually do. So as of 2 years ago, we launched ready to wear on .com. But I think that the experience, well, shopping in a retail store is all about just that, is the experience and the relationship that you build with your sales associate. You know, we have people that come in for literal retail therapy, where they come in and they shop with you, you know, but they built this relationship, or you built this relationship with them, that they, you know, feel comfortable, you know, letting you into their lives, and, you know, you kind of deal with these experiences with them, their highs and lows. So I think that people come in for the experience and, you know, for the relationships and the bond that you build with your sales associate, versus online. You know, if you're not familiar with the brand and you want to order something online, it's kind of hard to try something on versus coming into the store and actually seeing how things fit. We are an Italian company, so when it comes to our shoes for men, we actually run a full size bigger, and a lot of people don't even know that. So they'll, you know, want to order something from .com, and they'll order their US size, not knowing that we actually run a full size bigger. Or, you know, our cuts, you know, for the ready to wear, depending on the season, our cuts can be very slouchy or boxy, and people may not know that. And, you know, they want something and they order it from online, and then it arrives and they try it on, and it's not flattering on their body or anything like that. Versus when you come in store, you know, you really get your sales associate's honest opinion, and we are trained and we know what things look good on your body, on different body shapes, you know, and, you know, so I think that that's the difference between online shopping and retail shopping. And I'm an instant gratification type of person, so I would rather come into a store and buy something versus like order something online and wait for it.
That's so funny. Me too. Me too. All right, everybody, we are towards the end of our program here, and I hope that we were able to answer all of your questions that you've submitted. Jessica, is there anything else?
I would just encourage everybody, especially teens. Oh, sorry, there was some echo. I would encourage everybody to work a retail job at some point in your lives. You know, a lot of people don't see it like as maybe a long-term career necessarily, and that's fine, but it really does teach you great skills and gives you, it's an easy way to get a first job in a lot of cases. And it teaches you a lot of great skills like our guests today have spoken about. And customer service is something that will translate into your personal and professional lives, and it goes such a long way. As I'm sure our guests here have been super polite and haven't really dwelt on some of the negatives or dealing with negative customer interactions. But when you work behind the counter, you start to understand how you should behave when you're walking up as a customer in any retail environment. So, you know, it gives you a sense of how to be empathetic. So I really encourage you guys to consider a career, and feel free to reach out to us if you want to get in touch with any of our guests to get more information. I was curious, I know, Victor, you've mentioned that Starbucks is hiring again. So if teens are interested, what's the way to proceed?
Yeah, we're totally hiring as we're moving along, and as COVID is moving along as well. More stores are picking up their business, so we're hiring pretty much everywhere now. Just go to starbucks.com, careers, make sure that you know the locations that you are interested in, search for them, and you can apply to multiple locations. But in order for us to see you, you need to apply for that location in particular. If not, it's just gonna send you kind of like broad. But if you're looking for, like, let's say the Starbucks down the street, make sure that you know the address and you search for that address, or call the store and be like, hey, what's your store number? I'm trying to apply. And we will give you that store number so you can just directly put it on there. And we're hiring. We provide about 3 weeks of training, and you know, you can get free coffee all day long.
Thank you.
It's a great perk, coffee. What's the age to work at Starbucks?
Requirement is you can be 16 and older. You just need a work permit.
And is Starbucks pretty flexible about schedules if you're in high school?
Yeah, if you're in high school, I think you're not allowed to work more than about 15 hours, and you're not allowed to work during your school time.
And how about for Nike? Are you guys hiring?
Yeah, I think I checked a couple of days ago, as I mentioned, we were hiring seasonal and also looking like, for just part-time athletes. The website would be jobs.nike.com, or you can also Google like Nike careers as well. And I think the minimum age would be, I believe 18, and they are flexible also with your scheduling if you go to school as well.
And John, in the high-end luxury retail world, what's the scoop there?
Yeah, of course. So I believe we are getting ready to hire for seasonal. And the way that you can apply for that is either through Prada.com, LinkedIn, or the good old fashioned way. You can come in and hand your resume, which always is great, especially because you get a chance to really meet with the management team and, have conversations with them. I believe the age requirement is 18. We don't have any part-time jobs. Everything we offer at that boutique is full-time.
Thank you. And I see a question here from Betsy. As high schoolers, what would we put in our resumes? So I think that's a really good question. If you don't have a lot of work experience, like when you got, or I know, Victor, you've interviewed a number of people, maybe you have too, John, but when you're looking at resumes and you see someone, you can tell they don't have a lot of work experience, but what's like a standout on what pops out to you on a resume, even if you know they don't have a lot of experience in a professional way, but you see other things that indicate, oh, this person would be a strong communicator, or they're going to be willing to learn and flexible. What stands out to you? Like, what would you advise teens to kind of play up on the resume?
Yeah, so any volunteer work that you've done, any community service that you have done, if you were part of the school committee, if you were part of anything in school that revolves around, communication skills or being a leader or anything of that nature, to fill your resume. It doesn't have to be an extensive resume. It can be short and sweet, as long as that you're putting things that would, in a sense, benefit your application. And we're looking for basically communication skills, which is our main thing.
Thank you. Yeah. So I would say, Betsy, share whatever emphasizes your interpersonal skills, like teamwork. So maybe if you're not on a committee, but you did some big project in school that was notable, you might want to include that and emphasize that you really work well with a team, because employers in any job want to know that you can work well with other people. That's a critical skill.
All right. Oh, yeah, for sure. So we are pretty much at the end of our program here. I hope that we were able to answer all of the questions from our audience. Everybody here seems to be really happy, very thankful for all of our guest speakers for spending their time with us today and sharing all of the tips and tricks, from their career paths and how they can offer you support should you apply to their company. And if you do get a chance today, please do take a moment to fill out our surveys that our survey that Jessica had linked into our chat box. We are going to have one more Career Day program on November 18th featuring careers in pediatrics. We're having a pediatrician and hopefully a nurse come to talk to you about their career path. And then we're going to be taking a brief break for the winter. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here with us today. Thank you, John, Angel, and Victor, for just everything that you've shared with us today. And everybody here, like Maria saying, great speakers. So thank you so much.